debate as a result of it.
David Clendon.
Mr Speaker, yes, I'm pleased to take the opportunity to respond to this motion, and I understand it's only our new standing orders that actually enable this process to go ahead. I think there's a general consensus around the House that none of us want to spend time unnecessarily in the House debating issues. The use of extended hours, the cognate bills that we've had through the House, these are all good processes because they do not deny anybody the right to be heard. They simply are efficiency measures, and those are good things. In this instance, however, we oppose this motion for the very clear reason that there is a substantive issue at stake here. There is this bill that has been introduced, had its first reading tonight, is a very short bill, but it does some quite significant things. The bill was tabled, as I understand, on the 2nd of April, about a month ago. 3 of those 4 weeks, of course, this House has been in recess. I happened to be at a meeting at lunchtime, a gathering of NGOs, civil societies, people representing government agencies, members of the public, all of them with a significant interest in corrections, among other things, in human rights, but specifically corrections. I'm not aware that I mentioned this bill in passing to that group. None of them were aware that it was being debated in the House tonight, which is an indicator to me that there is no... Clearly, we want to engage with the public. I'm not suggesting for a moment that any party in the House does not believe in the importance of public engagement, civil engagement in the business and the bills going through. In this instance, it will come as a complete surprise to people with a vital interest in issues around prisoners' rights, around victims' rights, about the way we manage our correction sector, that it will be a surprise to those people that this bill is to be debated and that they have what is June 11th, that's about 6 weeks, if that, from tonight, to try and get some sort of sensible position, to understand what's at stake and to make a point to this bill. I might be less concerned about this foreshortened process if I felt that there was to be a comprehensive review, but I'm not convinced there will be. Already in the regulatory impact statement that accompanies this bill, we see reference to the government's redirection policy. It's absolutely clear that the government is set on embedding permanently the legislation which tonight they are seeking to...
Yeah, I can anticipate the point of order. I was just about to rise to my feet. The member can't own... This is a very narrow debate. It's about the curtailment of the times of sitting or the change around that. We're not debating what is actually in the bill. So the member can continue, but he cannot debate the content of the bill. It's about the procedural motion.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, for that guidance. Indeed, it is very much about process. It's about the participatory process. It's about basic democratic procedure. We must allow the public, NGOs, people with an interest in these matters, and after all of us want the public to participate in parliamentary processes, and clearly the Select Committee is a primary avenue for people to do that. People need time to prepare their submissions, to think about what they want to say to the Select Committee, to gather their information, conceivably to talk to members of Parliament about this process. Truncating this process may be acceptable, and certainly I do not suggest tonight for a moment that the Greens would always oppose a truncated Select Committee process, but in this instance we do believe that there are issues at stake that the Select Committee ought to and indeed needs to hear from members of the public, and we're very reluctant to see members of the public, NGOs and so on, denied a reasonable amount of time. It may well be, in fact, that the Select Committee collectively decides that they can progress this bill through the Select Committee process quite promptly and to have it back into the House for a second reading reasonably swiftly. That decision should be made by the committee, given an appropriate process within that committee. It should not be made tonight by the will of the Minister or the Government, and so we will oppose this motion.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. Aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. I expect there will be a party vote. We shall call for a party vote. The clerk will conduct a party vote.
New Zealand National. 59 votes in favour. New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
13 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
8 votes in favour.
Maori Party.
3 votes in favour.
Mana.
Opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 vote in favour.
Any other votes?
The ayes are 72, the noes are 48. The motion is agreed to. Call on Government Order of the Day number 2.
Crown